Hello everyone, this is Morpheus and hopefully an informative day today because this is the ultimate Warlock 2v2 arena PvP guide for Demonology at least. Let me just begin with saying that we start off with some general remarks and then some general tips, some extra tips, then more into depth about how a fight looks like. And then we go on to an example fight, which is a very good fight in my opinion. It's at 1800 rating, the fight between us, me and the Holy Paladin. And the opponents were this priest and a hunter. And this priest and a hunter is going to be just really nice for this example, as it shows exactly what you need to do to survive. They have a lot of pressure and CC, so it's a perfect example. Also, I want to say before we start, a lot of people think Demonology is noob, and it's only about the one shot, and then you die and fail if you can't one shot someone. It's more subtle than that, of course, and then there is way more to it. And I know that this is also for other classes; it's the same thing, but for Demonology, it's even more important to do the rest perfectly. And the one-shot is important. If you don't know how to one-shot, you really should learn it, of course. But that's relatively easy. It's the rest, the journey towards the one-shot. That's actually where the skill is involved. And I'm going to explain you how this journey looks like and what you need to do in order to get the burst there and do the perfect burst, of course. So here we are in game, and I'm gonna show you my talent build first before we start, as it's quite useful. I use Dark Regeneration at the moment because it's a lifesaver. It's just one heal, which is really nice, and also the healing is increased, as you can see here, by 25%. So it's ideal if I need to get healed by the healer, and I also am low, so I'm just gonna pop this one and gonna survive. Then I'm gonna use Mortal Coil. Basically because it also restores 15% of my HP, and it is a horror effect, so it doesn't DR with anything, and the Paladin has stuns, so this would DR, as it's called, with the Paladin stun, meaning that this will be actually shorter, or the Paladin stun will be shorter, because if you do multiple of the same types of CC followed by each other or whatever, then the DR, the amount of time it takes or it lasts is reduced. Diminishing returns. If you don't know what this is, then Google diminishing returns. Then I use Dark Bargain because it's also a lifesaver. And Sacrificial Pact, I use my Imp or my Fell Hunter most of the time. And the HP is just so low, so the shield is going to be really small. So Dark Bargain is really the way to go. Unbound Whale, because sometimes you just need to get out of CC just to finish someone off, so it's really a must-have, especially if you play with double DPS trinket like me, then you really need this one. And also the Imp is really nice if you play with double DPS trinkets, because the Imp will dispel your traps if your healer can't dispel that at the moment. Okay, then Grim of Service. At the moment it does the most damage, and let me explain why. We don't have full gear yet. Okay, so Grimoire of Sacrifice scales. You see that it increases your damage by 25%, but if your damage is really low, then 25% is not gonna matter that much. However, your demons seem to hit quite some damage, and they also generate a lot of demonic fury. So for now, Grimoire of Service is really the way to go. At the moment I play with double Imp or with one Fell Hunter and an Imp. And the reason why I use one Imp is because he does a lot of damage, especially in combination with the glyph I'm about to show you, but it does a lot of damage. And then I use Mannoroth Fury in combination with Immolation Aura for about 16 to 20k extra DPS, which is really nice, and it surprises people how much damage it actually does. If you don't know about this, and also about the glyph, this is the glyph of demon training, by the way, which your Imp's Firebolt custom is reduced by 50% and fires in bursts of 3, so that's why I use an Imp. But if you don't know about this talent build and this glyph and how I burst, because I'm not going to show you that anymore, if you want to know that, then please click the link in the top of this screen and go to my video how to burst in 5.4 as a Demon Lock, and I will explain you there how you should burst. But now it's really about arena. So we're back out of game, and I'm now going to give you the most general tips I can give you, but they're quite useful, so just keep them in mind. First of all, it's really basic. Get to know your class. Know everything about your class. Know that Chaos Wave is actually Chaos damage, just a touch of Chaos, and that it counts as Chaos damage, meaning that it will take the form of the kind of magic, or physical damage even, where the opponent is most vulnerable to. So for example, if a DK pops AMS, anti-magic shield, you can just burst right through it with Chaos Wave and Touch of Chaos, but nothing else unfortunately, just those two spells. If a rogue pops Cloak of Shadows, you can also burst right through it with those two spells. So those kind of things, know it about your class. Then the second point is get to know the other class. What is Touch of Karma? What is AMS? What is being Hotched mean? So, know all these things about other classes, what the cooldowns are, what the abilities do, and know that Touch of Karma will absorb all damage taken and will give you the damage back, actually, for a percentage, I believe. So, know these things. Touch of Karma is really annoying and has a 1.5 minute cooldown, I think. I mean, I should even research that more, but I think it's 1.5 or 2 minutes. Know these things. Dueling is really good to learn other classes and Google. Also use PvP sounds like Gladiator Lossa, which lets you hear what the opponent is using. So you'll hear a female voice say, Touch of Karma, AMS. So then you know what's happening, and you should stop do damage on the monk if he pops AMS on you. Also the turns, you just know, okay, I shouldn't burst right now, I should wait for the turns to end and then burst, for example. You also need to know that some spells make players immune to certain CCs. For example, Monk, after you stun a Monk, he's immune for some things, and if a Priest pops Inner Focus, for example, he is immune for silence, and Shamey has the same trick, and even a Warlock has the same trick. As we know, it's Unending Resolve, and we're also immune for silences and stuff, meaning that we can free cast. So if you need to land off a fear and they're trying to control you with interrupts like Pummel or Disrupting Shout, then just pop an Unending Resolve and cast a fear and you're fine. The third point is learn the different comps that are out there, okay? Hunter, Healer, Warrior, Paladin, Shaman, something else, Boomkin, Affliction Lock. Know these comps and know what to do against them. And also test out different comps yourself, okay? Play with a Paladin, play with a Rest of Shaman, try out some different things, it will help you understand the whole game in general. Then the other next point, don't enter an arena to win. I mean, you should kind of, but enter in the beginning, especially enter an arena to learn, okay? And with this mindset, you enter arena completely different, because you don't want to force anything. You just want to, try out things, experiment, and then find out what's your best way of getting an enemy down. Another point, coordination and combination, okay? Use Skype, really. Know how to CC, like when to CC, and CC at the right moment. Don't overlap CC, maybe just by 0.1 second overlap CC, but nothing more than that. Know how to burst and burst at the same time if you are playing with double DPS, but really learn how to coordinate and communicate with your other partner in 2v2, for example. Then another point is kite and survive, okay? Really important. Learn to teleport, demonic leap away, heal, CC, do some damage. Learn how to pillar hug plus hand of Gul'dan so they're slowed. Don't panic, make good decisions, and just help your healer out if he's gonna die, and he will help you out if you're going to die. Just survive so you can burst the next time. In the meanwhile, you still have to do other stuff. Okay, so yeah, this is actually the next point, but also part of the previous point. Learn to how to reset an arena. Gate away, so you're far away from the other team, and then just mana tap, so you're full on mana again, and he will heal you, and then he can drink and then peel the other team, so he can drink, and you're back full health, full mana, and you can reset the arena and win, hopefully. So yeah, then we come to the next point. Obviously, learn how to peel. Learn how to fear, stun, silence, knock back, slow them down, get them away from you or get them away from your healer. Use teleport or gateway if needed, but since the gateway is pretty long on cooldown, you should really only do that when it's necessary. Okay, position play is the next point. Really important. The healer should be in a very good spot. Like, for example, the healer should be in the open, and then you can burst on the healer. Just get his fear ward off and then start bursting, whatever. Or maybe the healer should be far away on the other side of the map. So fear him on the other side of the map, teleport back or gate back and burst on the DPS, for example. So you can use your healer to lure the DPS. If he's on the DPS, you can lure him to the other side of the map while you control the healer, for example. And then you can burst on the DPS soon. That's also an option. Then the next point is force cooldowns. Force life swap out of the game. As long as the priest has life swap, it's very hard to beat the comp unless he is not that good. Another thing you need to learn is to keep track of whether he has used his trinket or not. And if he hasn't used his trinket yet, the healer, for example, if you go on the healer or if you go on the DPS, doesn't matter, then make him force his trinket. Just fear him a couple of times in a row, do some pressure on the DPS, for example, and then hope he trinkets, and then just wait for your CC to not DR anymore, so that you can CC again. But then he won't have a trinket for another 1.3 minutes or something, 1.5 minutes, when your CC is back up again. So then you have a lot of time to burst and to win. So just also learn how to force trinkets, basically. The next point is learn how to burst and CC to win, of course, which is, very basic maybe. But anyways, if you want to learn more about it, I already gave a link in another part of this guide. But click this image next to this text again, so you can get to the video that shows you how to burst. So do that if you still want to learn how to burst, at least how I burst at the moment. You have different ways of bursting, of course. You can also use sacrifice even, but this is my way of bursting for now. Then another point, learn different play styles, okay? Learn that there is no match the same, and learn that you have to play totally different against double DPS comps than just the DPS and a healer. With double DPS, it's about early on pressure, full force cooldowns if needed, very fast, and burst them down very fast, kill one of them really fast, CC a lot, whatever. And yeah, it's really about getting to kill someone really fast. And when it's about DPS and healer, it's more about outplaying them in the long run, okay? Because you're probably not gonna kill them in the first burst. I mean, sometimes you do, but it's more about the long game, and that you outplay them in terms of position play and stuff during the game. So this may take at least maybe 4 minutes or longer, maybe even 10 minutes or longer even. But it takes some time to outplay a good DPS plus healer team. For example, a monk in combination with a very good DPS, like maybe a hunter or a DK or warrior. It's really hard for me to counter, because monks just are annoying. They are annoying as hell. They have good CC and their shield has a short enough cooldown. Like Bubble of a Paladin is 5 minutes, I believe, but their life cocoon is every 3 minutes, I think, or 2 minutes even. And it counters or bursts a lot. So that's just what you need to learn. You need to learn how to deal with these things. And the playstyle is totally different, I would say. So I'm gonna go over this quickly. We're gonna talk about how a fight looks like in 2v2 in general. So first you start up with building up Fury, Demonic Fury a little bit. Build up your shit, you know, get everything together. So, because you need at least 300 Demonic Fury to burst. But I think that's the minimum. It also depends if you use Mannoroth's Fury with Immolate Aura for the extra damage, because then you need more, then you need 400. And if you don't use it at all, then even 250 Demonic Fury is enough to burst, but it's a very short burst then. Anyways, so let's move on. The second thing is wait for the good moment, okay? If your second DPS trinket hasn't popped yet, you want to let it pop, you know, you want to activate it by doing damage, and then also wait for a good moment where the position of one of the two arena opponents is not ideal, and then you can burst. Third thing actually is you burst for the first time. Okay, that's the next phase. You force cooldowns with this burst. You can actually kill someone in the first burst, if that's possible, of course. But generally, you just do it for forcing cooldowns. So you want to get life swap out of the game, or 2 times the turns, whatever. Okay. Then you're done with your burst. They're probably not dead. So then you go into survival mode, meaning that you need to peel, CC, pillar hook, teleport, gate, heal, mana tap, and in the meanwhile you still do damage, but your focus is on surviving. So then comes the next point. Why is the focus on surviving and not on DPS, as you would expect to constantly do DPS? Well, Demonology has no sustained damage, so why should you focus on DPS? It's much more wise to focus on CC and let your healer be alive and stuff, and do other things like position play, force trinket and stuff. We don't have sustained damage. We just do damage, like if our burst is over, and between our burst period, time that we burst, like in the time between our burst, that's the right thing to say, we focus on getting Fury also. We just need Fury for the next burst, basically. And then of course survive, whatever. So yeah, then you do the second burst. Of course you wait again for the perfect moment, and then you burst for the second time. And this can mean, in a lot of games, this can mean that you win, because the burst is gonna be insane. You now had a lot of time to build up Fury, so you probably have 600 Demonic Fury, maybe even more, like 800 Demonic Fury, meaning that you can really burst hard with Mannoroth's Fury and Immolate Aura in combination with that. So yeah, you just burst really hard, and someone is going down most of the time. And of course, if that doesn't work, then you need to do it again, reset arena, and burst another time. I'm gonna quickly add to this that some extra things is that you need to watch out for the DR of fear, the diminishing return of fear. Before you burst, you want to make sure that you can do a full fear on the one you want to CC. So for example, if you go on the healer and you're also gonna CC the healer, make sure you can do a full CC on the healer. I mean a full fear. Also watch out your second DPS trinket. If it hasn't popped yet, or it has popped yet already, wait for the global cooldown to come back up. The global cooldown, the internal cooldown. Wait so you can also use your second trinket, because the second trinket adds almost 4000 extra intellect, which is a lot. So just wait for that and then burst on a priest. And another thing, watch your Demonic Fury, of course. Make sure you have enough. That's it, and we now continue with the example match, actually. Okay, I'm gonna get a gateway. So this is the beginning of the fight, and we see that we're up against a hunter and a priest, a holy priest actually, and this is a really good comp, really hard to beat, and that's because they have a lot of CC, good survivability, good cooldowns like 2 times the turns, life swap, pain suppression, all those things. So it's really hard. So what I do here, I try to build up some Demonic Fury. I have my second trinket popped, so I'm gonna burst with everything I have on the hunter to force the turns. I need the turns, so we got the turns out of the game, and that was actually the only purpose of the first burst. I still tried to finish him off by mortal coiling the priest and doing some small burst again on the hunter, and he did his second deterrence, so he even got the second deterrence out of the game, And I believe he also did pain suppression, but I'm not sure if he did that or not. Now I don't have any demonic fury anymore, like barely, and I also don't. So I don't have cooldowns, and I don't have damage. Basically, my damage now sucks from now on. So what we do is we go survival mode. Okay, I'm gonna fear a lot, CC a lot, silence as much as I can. And just now you also see that my second trinket popped again, but you know, this is not about damage. We just wait for everything till my cooldowns are back up, and that's in 50 seconds. So I do some damage, you know, minor damage, and the damage is only meant for generating the Mana Fury. As you can see, the damage is ridiculously low. I have to say that I should have just casted Soulfire here. You know, which is a proc that you get. So I do that right now, but I do it too little. I should have done that more often. So even I can improve, of course. Well, he has the bubble here. He's gonna dispel it, unfortunately. And you see that the control of the enemy team is really good. He can mind control my healer constantly, and he can scatter trap. The hunter can scatter trap. So what you need to do every time the healer is gonna do mind control, you need to get your healer out of the mind control. Now he's scatter trapped, which is also very wrong. You also should try to take and eat the traps, as it's called, meaning that you stand on the frost thingy and you will be trapped and the healer can dispel you. So now I need to survive here with everything I have. So I knock him back into a fear, and he minded my healer again. So I tried to fear him, but he's immune. Anyways, he's out of the so that was very, very close actually there. It was really close, and it's because the CC of the hunter in combination with the priest is insanely good. I don't have any CCs anymore, like I use Mortal Coil. So what I need to do is I can't burst yet because I need my CCs to go back on again. And as you can see, my burst is also, you know, still a minute away from you know, me being able to burst again. I'm gonna get stunned now, knocked away, and he dominated me again. I have to say that the trick versus priest and dominating mining is to burst on the priest while he is dominating mining. You need to get his fear ward off first, so you can full fear him with an AoE fear. Now I actually try to burst on the hunter, but just a small burst, not a real burst, because I don't have all cooldowns yet. I'm silenced in my burst. Yeah, I did an AoE fear on them, and the hunter is almost down. Okay. That was a good save from my paladin, because I was almost dead. Okay, so now I don't have any damage anymore. I need to reset. I'm here. I eat the trap. So that's what you need to do. Okay. So what was I saying? I was saying, yeah, the trick with the priest. If he has mind control as a spec, make sure he doesn't have fear ward, so you can AoE fear. Then let the healer trick him into mind controlling my healer. You know, let him stand in the open next to the priest. The priest will mind control and then burst on the priest, because he is mind controlling, so he needs to cancel the mind control. That takes some time, so it's actually he's CCing himself almost. Then you burst on him. If he goes out of mind control, you instantly fear him, or your healer stuns him. And then you follow the stun up with Mortal Coil or Fear or Silence. You do your CC chain and you win. My healer is now again scatter trapped. I tried to LOS around the pillar here. I'm silenced now. I'm pacified, but I have a bob, so I mean a shield, whatever. So I'm fine for now. And I'm trying to just do as much as CC on the priest and the hunter as possible. I jumped towards my healer because we need to be in a safe position. You also need to be rebuff yourself, because he's dispelling the buff a lot. Here I try to LOS again as my healer is again scatter trapped. I'm coiling the healer so he can't mind control my healer. And I now do an AoE fear to make sure he can mind control my healer again. So I really try to do everything I can so he can't mind control my healer. He's now stunned and I will try to do a burst, but this is not the good moment to burst because we wasted some cooldowns already. So we should have actually waited for the CCs to come back up again. However, we did manage to get a live swap out of the game because he live swapped with the hunter. Now I tried to do some damage on the hunter, but I don't have enough damage anymore because my demonic fury is low and my cooldowns are wearing off. And I have to say this is kind of an example match, to be honest. Yeah, I don't want to be arrogant or something, but this is really an example match. As you can see that the first burst was to force some cooldowns, like 2 times the turns already. The second burst kind of failed, but that's because of us. And then the third burst we forced live swap out of the game. And then the fourth burst or fifth burst is gonna be the final one, where he doesn't have any cooldowns anymore. We can win basically. And now we'll try to peel again. He stuns. I fear the hunter. I fear the priest constantly. I'm getting feared now, but we try to CC as much as possible because we need to reset. And in the meanwhile, I just apply all my dots constantly on both targets, as much as I can. I also do Fell Flame and Soulfire and Shadow Bolt, Gate Away when I need to, like now, and I try to get them on Fury. I also need to mana tap. For example, now I'm just tapping mana. Now the hunter comes back. He roots me. Steady shot, whatever. You can do whatever you want, hunter. Come on. So the priest does a full fear again, which is not good. So I'm moving towards my healer and to their healer. He's dominating, mining him. And this should be a good moment to burst, but I didn't have my cooldowns yet, and you really need to wait for your cooldowns. So I also silenced him, so I need to wait for the silence to come back up again, and then we can go. I also see that my second trinket is still 25 seconds for activating. You can see it in the middle of the screen, the red cooldown, that's the second DPS trinket. So I need to wait a bit more, like 14 seconds now, and then I can try to get the trinket activated again and burst. He killed my pet here apparently, so I need to resummon it. So we just need to fear, peel as much as possible here, survive, hopefully even gate away, and get the pet. I'm now rooted, so I can't help my healer. He's dominating, mining him again. I'm shielding here. I have to use Dark Bargain, and I'm bursting here. And this is not really the perfect moment to burst, but we managed to kill him anyway, because we have a ton of CC and he is dead. And that was really a good CC chain. As you could see, we did AoE fear. Just a fear, more a coil, just a stun, whatever. We did a lot of CC, except the AoE fear. We used it on a hunter afterwards because I didn't need AoE fear apparently. But generally, also in another video that I will be uploading soon, you will also see that I sometimes use the trick of the priest dominating, mining, and then just burst. Okay, this was it for the guide. I hope this was useful. Hope this will increase your rating in 2v2. I hope you enjoyed this, and like and subscribe as always. Morpheus out.